Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we are going to do a product application video for you that's going to focus on how to use permanent color at your root and our color reviving gloss, which is right here, mid-lengths and ends. And this is something that we get questions about all the time because we do recommend that you use these products together. But that can be a little bit hard to figure out if it's your very first time. So we're going to make that really easy for you. As you can see today, I do have a little bit of a root line, nothing too terrible. I would say it's probably about a half an inch of roots. And we're going to zap that away with our permanent color. And then we're going to add shine and tone to the rest of the hair with gloss. So I'm going to be doing this demo on myself. I'll be doing my own color. That'll keep my hands busy, but I'm going to keep my eyes on the screen and see if there's any comments coming in, any questions you guys have, specific questions about personal color matching, or any questions that you have about the product line in general. Recently, we've been talking a little bit more about Root Reboot, which is our brand new demi-permanent 2-week gray coverage tool that's amazing. And we've been so in love with that, but today we're going to bring it back to basics and focus a little more on our permanent color line and our color reviving glosses. So, I am not going to do, I am a professional colorist and a licensed cosmetologist, but I'm not going to do anything today in this video that you don't have access to at home. So I'm coloring my hair today using only the tools that already come in the Madison kit that you receive when you order. So, we do give you 2 pairs of gloves, one for applying the color to keep the color off of your fingers and from staining, and then one for shampooing the color off so that you don't get stained up at any point in the process. Another thing that I'm excited to talk about today is, hi Lisa, good evening. I'm using, as you can see, my hair color result is pretty golden, and I like kind of a golden finish. But because I'm using hair color to go lighter than my natural, as you can see, I'm about a level 6 medium brown, and I'm going to a light brown. So I'm going one level higher than my natural. And whenever you do that, it's wise to use a color with ash in it, and that keeps your hair from getting too red, because hair color is kind of built on itself and there's a lot of warmth in your natural color. So if you're lightening and you use an ash color, the results will be more neutral or softly golden rather than overtly red, which a lot of people, when going to a lighter brown or dark blonde, are trying to avoid. So we get that question a lot, when to use ash colors, because oftentimes people don't want ash results, but they know that there's a purpose for using the ash color. And so when going lighter, it's going to be your best friend. So I've got my tube of Madison Reed color and activator. I also wanted to point out to everyone, this is about how full the activator looks when it comes to you. That's a question we get too sometimes. When you receive this and people will say, oh, my activator is not full, something must have happened. This is how much activator you should have. That gives us plenty of room to add the full color tube and shake it up with plenty of room to fully emulsify. And I'm going to squeeze from the top down. That's important so that you get all the color available out of that tube. And I'm not going to do a brush and bowl application on my roots today. I'm going to just use the color flask that's provided, just because if you don't have a color bowl and brush at home, I don't want you to feel like you're missing out on something. You can absolutely apply this color using the flask, and this pointed tip on that bottle will help you to section your hair. Okay, so I'm going to use just 2 clips to get my hair off my forehead. And hi Stephanie, thanks for joining. I'm excited that we have you here today. So when you go to our website or you look at our instructions, you'll see that you're instructed to section your hair into 4 parts. That is solely for your convenience to keep your hair organized while you're coloring it. If you don't have clips handy, that's okay. You can just kind of make a soft parting with a comb or with your finger, and then just move your hair around with the bottle. So the clips are optional. Sometimes people will be confused if they don't have clips or feel like they're kind of missing a part of the application process, not to worry. They're just there to make your life a little bit easier, but they're not a necessary part. So I'm not doing the standard 4. My hair's quite short, so I'm just going to do 2 sections just to keep it off of my forehead. I'm applying our barrier cream so that I don't get staining around my forehead. I'm going to do this around my hairline, tops of the ears, and around the back of the neck. And this just keeps you from staining and having that kind of telltale, I just colored my hair look. A note about our barrier cream, does a very, very good job of protecting your skin. You want to make sure that you keep it on your skin only and you're not getting this in the hair itself, thereby blocking the color from penetrating and doing its job. There we go. I'm going to make this part pretty quick. Okay. Now, if you're wearing something fancy that you care a lot about, you'll want to put a towel around you or a smock or an old t-shirt, you know, something that you don't mind dripping on. I feel comfortable wearing this for my application, so we're going to go from here. But this would be the time to secure yourself with a smock or a towel or something. Okay, so I'm going to shake up my product so you can see how fast this is. And again, you know, feel free to ask any questions in the comments section, and I'd be happy to answer you live. If it's not something that I can answer right away, I'd be more than happy to email you back right after if you need a personalized consultation for color matching or anything like that that takes a little bit more interaction. Okay, and it doesn't even have to be about this. If you guys have questions about root touch-up powder or root reboot, we're more than happy to answer those questions too at this time. Okay, so what I find helpful is using the color. This is a mirror image here, so I'm going to try to do this in a somewhat straight line. I like to use the color to kind of act as a hair separator. So I'll do the major quadrants first, and then go around my hairline, and then I'll take my sections from there. So let me go get a little bit of a center part. Okay, perfect. So let me squirt a little out here. All right. So boop, there we are, going straight down the root line. And we always say emulsify with your fingers. This is what we mean. Just apply the product directly onto the hair and then move it through with your fingertips. This is going to give you great control. That pointed tip of the bottle is going to get the product exactly where you need it, right on that root line. And then you can smudge it in to just blend it into where the root actually ends by itself. So I'm going to continue applying to my roots in vertical sections going backward. So working from the front to the back. And I'm going to take some of the comments and questions that we have here. Okay. Let me just get there we go. Okay. So I am going to, hi Patricia, thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you. We're excited that you're here, and I would love to know which one of the Madison Reed products that you're already using if you comment. And hi, hi Katrina, everyone is in such a happy mood this evening. That's awesome. How do you ensure you cover your grays? Not that you have any, I kind of do in the temples a little bit. I try to absolutely saturate my grays and still find some that peek through after I rinse everything out. Okay, so saturation is absolutely key. So what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll hit all these grays or all these roots, and then do my whole application just to make sure all the roots get a little bit of color. And then I go back and I really put a lot of product on those grays. Some grays are quite resistant and will literally pop up out of the color, and they need the weight of the color to hold them down. So sometimes you really gotta like slap it on there. And the other thing is, if you have resistant grays, you know, our standard instructions say 35 minutes, but if you do have resistant grays or grays that have trouble getting covered, you can go 45 minutes. You can add that extra 10. The other thing about gray coverage is make sure that you use the plastic cap that's provided in the Madison Reed kit, because what that plastic cap is doing is it's not only is it kind of keeping you neater and not letting the color touch your sofa or your whatever it is you're probably leaning against when your color's processing, but it traps in the natural heat that your scalp creates just from natural body heat, and that heat actually helps your color process better and faster. So there is a technical reason that we include that in the kit too, even though it's also just kind of a nice thing. So as you can see, I've abandoned my clips because for me, the clips kind of just get a little in the way. And I can feel when you're using this bottle and you're getting that color on the root, you can feel it. And so I kind of go by that a little bit too. So you see in the, I'm trying to kind of turn so that you can see this from a side view, but I'm using the tip of the applicator to be my section, and that makes a pretty good straight line. I mean, that works just fine. You don't have to use a comb or get out anything else that you're gonna later have to wash. And I like easy, and I think a lot of people like easy. So that's, you know, and there you go. Hi, Val. I hope Nicole, did that answer your question about the gray coverage? So a couple of things, saturation, which it sounds like you're already probably doing a really good job saturating. And then feel free to add those 10 to 15 extra processing minutes and use the cap. Cap is really gonna help. Okay, now my partings feel pretty saturated. I'm also fine with my finger sticking to the root. And then back where my hair is a little shorter, I'm not gonna be as careful. I'm just gonna kind of go for it because I don't have highlights there. And what I'm really trying to do by focusing on the root here is preserve my highlights and kind of keep them out of the story. That's where the gloss is gonna go. So for the hair in the back, we're just gonna apply. I could even maybe try to turn around and show you this application, but I'm going kind of vertically and then smudging through with my fingers. I'm not sure if that was helpful. I can't quite see behind my own self, but with the back hair that's shorter, you know, if it's not highlighted and you don't have dimensional color work there, I just say get the color on. You don't have to be quite as careful. What you don't want to do is put permanent color roots to ends on longer hair every single time, because, you're welcome, Nicole, thank you for asking, because your hair kind of just doesn't need it. Your mid-lengths and ends don't need permanent color every time. What starts to happen is your hair can get a bit dried out, first of all. Even though our color is gentle, you know, you're still putting permanent color on your ends every time. You just don't really need it. And then over time, it will get kind of dark, inky, and opaque. So what we like to recommend is that you use that permanent color on your roots where you really need more deposit. I'm going to do this part with my fingertips just to get a closer. There we go. And that's totally allowed. That's totally legit. You do whatever works. For me, sometimes just putting it right on the gloves and getting in there. So if you use a color reviving gloss where your permanent color ends, then you're going to get color deposit, tone deposit, and shine, but it's going to be sheer. And then you'll have that beautiful dimensional color from roots to ends where you're covered without getting overly inky or overly dark. Okay, so that's all done. Roots look pretty done. Okay, so I'm going to take your question, Jennifer. Let me read it real quick. Hi. You just colored your hair for first time on Sunny. This is your fourth time using Madison Reed, and you love the end result. Wonderful. This time, okay. Okay, so Jennifer, if you're experiencing any kind of sensitivity whatsoever, you should absolutely write into our color crew, or what we can do is we can email you after we are done wrapping up our Facebook Live, because we will want to talk to you more about that, and Yeah, I mean, reaction level is obviously quite low just because of the lack of ammonia and PPD, but people can become sensitive to any ingredient at any time, and we want to be really sensitive to that. So if something has changed for you, absolutely, let's talk to you about it after we're done being on air. And then if we need to, issue you a refund for your last kit and maybe give you a list of ingredients to take to your dermatologist if that would be helpful. Because we never want to diagnose, so we don't know exactly what it is that made you uncomfortable, but we're more than happy to give you the tools to help you find out. So let's make a note to be in touch with you as soon as we're done here. Okay. So, hi Carol. Can mix in addition apply with a brush? I have lots of gray and apply to roots only. Absolutely. And I do that a lot. I'll do a brush application, especially if I have tiny, tiny bit of roots like I did today. The only reason, you're welcome, Jennifer, the only reason I didn't do a bowl and brush today is because not everyone has that handy, and I just wanted to make sure that if you just get the kit and it doesn't have the bowl and brush in it, that you feel well prepared to color your own hair at home. But yeah, of course, if bowl and brush is easier for you, absolutely. I mean, that's how we're used to doing it in the salon. For those of us who are professional colorists, we almost always do a bowl and brush application. So there's absolutely, you'll get great results either way. Okay. And we sell the bowl and brush on our website too. If you're watching and you want to do this with the bowl and brush application and you don't have one, we sell them. I think it's about $7.95 on the website. Okay. So I am now pretty rootly covered. I feel color everywhere. And I'm going to move on to the gloss application. Feels good, looks good, primarily just on the roots, and then I've got all my highlighted hair hanging out. Hi Carmen, did I do my highlights with Madison Reed, or were those professionally done? And am I just preserving them now? Exactly, that's exactly what I'm doing. So I, like a lot of our clients, do a base color that I maintain, and then every few colors, I'll get highlights. Because I don't like my hair blonde, but I like a little bit of dimension, just a few foils here and there to break it up. So what I do to preserve that is I probably color my own roots maybe 3 or 4 times before I need another highlight. And then that's why I'm using the gloss instead of bringing that color all the way through, is because I don't want to get rid of my highlights completely, but I want to tone down some of the extra gold. Because I do overall like a golden blonde, but sometimes it can get, it starts pulling a little brassy or a little over, and that's when we bring in Crema gloss. If you guys aren't familiar with the color reviving glosses, these are, oh wait, hang on. Before I launch into what these are, I'm going to kind of just back up a little bit so that once we start, then I can tell you about it. So right where you start to see that root, like there's the end of where I've applied that permanent color, that's where I'm going to start my gloss application. Okay, Crema gloss looks violet coming right out of the tube, and that's exactly what it is. It's a violet tone, semi-permanent color that comes out in 8 to 10 shampoos, and I'm going to pull that through. You don't have to be ultra careful here about if your root permanent color and your gloss touch each other. These products are made to work in tandem. You probably don't want to lay it right on over, because then you're kind of interfering. But don't be afraid to use your fingers to smudge that line up into them. It's okay. It's not going to, nothing bad's going to happen. They're totally meant to be friends. And then we're going to pull this mid-lengths to ends. I'm going to do that all over my head. So I'm going to be getting my real permanent color there, and then my nice sheer violet toned gloss throughout. Let me know if I answered the question about the highlights. Related to Carol's question, is there a ratio you need to pay attention to if you are only using part of your product, for example? Yes. So it's pre-measured out for you if you're using the whole thing. But if you have shorter hair or thinner hair and you don't need the whole bottle, it is 1 part color to 1.5 part activator. So if you want to take a partial bit of your color out and mix it in a bowl, you would want to just do 1.5 times that amount when you mix it in the bowl. Important note about that, if you are going to take out a partial bit of the color, mix it up and save the rest for later, that's fine. We do it all the time. Just make sure that you do that in a separate bowl, mix it up, and then put your cap back on your activator airtight and your cap back on your tube airtight. Don't just kind of throw them on there and give them a quick twist. They really need to be airtight so that they will stay, because oxygen is the enemy of hair color, and if it oxidizes, it will kind of turn an odd color and it won't be good anymore. And you definitely don't want to mix it and save it. You know, depending on your level of hair color experience, you may or may not already know that, and that might sound like common sense, but you know, it's not always that clear. Okay, so now because I'm adding some around the back, I'm just going to put the gloss in my glove and run this through like a conditioner. This is why color reviving gloss is so nice to use, because it's not a technical product. It comes out of the tube ready to use. You don't mix it with anything. It goes straight on the hair and then it processes. And you can control the intensity of the deposit by how long you leave it on for. So if you just had a little bit of brassiness, you wanted to knock, you know, out of there 20 minutes. If you really were, say, changing your color and using one of our red glosses like Barolo or Canela and really going for vibrant results, you could process for the full 35 minutes. My hair can take that full 30 minutes because it's not very light and there's enough warmth that this crema needs time to process with. So there we go. Okay, you can see hair is covered roots to ends. You can emulsify just with your fingers, or you can get technical and use a comb. This is about the most technical thing you're going to see me do. But I'm just going to comb through here just to break up the line. And I'm going to answer a couple more. Oh, hi Margaret, and you're welcome, Nicole. If you ask me a question via Facebook Live and I don't quite answer it, or you're asking a more specific question, also don't be afraid to follow up and let me know that you'd like an email after, because we're really happy to do that. I have to sit here and let my color process anyway, and I'm happy to take that time and answer your questions that I may not get to while we're doing Facebook Live. So that's it. This application is basically complete, and that is a two-step application, and it really isn't very difficult at all. It's so easy, it's so quick. It's worth mentioning too, I'm going to clip this up and then put my cap on, as I've instructed you guys to do. It's worth mentioning that when you do have your color reviving glosses, this tube of gloss is 4 ounces, and on average you can get 2 uses out of this. If your hair is about normal texture and shoulder length, 2 uses of gloss. I typically get about 3 because my hair is a little bit finer and shorter. So I'm going to go ahead and put, let me see here if I have any staining. Yeah, here. We also have, in the kit, you get a pre-treated stain removing wipe. And I have to tell you, I've been a colorist for 10 years, and this is the best stain removing wipe I've ever used. And I feel the same about our barrier cream. They are wonderful. So I'm just going right around, taking off a little of my foundation with the color, but that's okay. And back here where I can't see it, but I can maybe feel it a little bit, and getting those color stains off, and this thing is super effective. You guys are going to love it. Okay, boom. We're all set. Nice, neat little application. And cap is going on to trap in the heat. So I have, it looks very pretty. I have about a 30-minute application time, or processing time rather, still left because I spent a few minutes talking about the barrier cream and other things. So we're going to start 30 minutes from here. But I'm happy to hang out with you guys here on Facebook Live and answer any questions and comments that you still have coming in. And afterward, we will shampoo, blow dry, and post results. So, hi, Allie. Thank you so much. I'm curious about what you use, and anytime you guys are feeling supportive of Madison Reed or just loving the product, we love hearing what you're using. It just kind of makes our hearts happy to know what products are making you so thrilled out there. So please feel free to post that in the comments. Again, if you're wanting to use Madison Reed or you're already using Madison Reed yourself and maybe you're looking for a product change, a new color, a new shade, feel free to let us know in the comments that you'd like a personalized consultation. We'll reach out to you and even exchange photos and get you a really nice personalized detailed consultation for a color match. So Jennifer, did I say my highlights were also Madison Reed? No, my highlights were done in a salon. We do not make a bleach or a highlight kit here at Madison Reed. So okay, we look good now. So yeah, we don't yet have highlighting kits or bleaches. So a lot of Madison Reed clients will still use Madison Reed to maintain, base color in between highlights, which is exactly what I do. Hi Trish, is the product corn-free as well? That's a really good question, and to the best of my knowledge, I think so. I will check our ingredient panel and we will let you know a definite yes or no. I don't know if I've gotten that question before, good question, and but I will commit to finding out for you, and then we will respond back to that because that's a really good one. And Nicole, Forenza Brown, love it, interested in trying a gloss. If you use the Forenza Brown and you want to see more of that warm, kind of darker warm color, then the Amaretto gloss is beautiful. It is so multi-tonal, really, really rich, just enough red without being, like a true red. It's going to pair really nicely with that. If you like more of the gold that's in the Forenza and not so much the mahogany, then the Melee for like golden, light browns and the golden honey tones. So either one of those, just depending on what you want to bring out. But the Amaretto gloss is absolutely one of my favorites, and I've done that before on Facebook Live, and I love Amaretto so much. And hi, New York. Carmen, you like the Sienna Brown, and what color gloss would work well? You tried espresso and it seemed too dark. I totally understand that, and I like the cool tone brown. Do you have a gloss suggestion? I like your idea about leaving the espresso on less time, but I actually think what you're going to like more is the one I just used, which is the Crema Gloss, because the Crema Gloss has violet tones that will work at basically any level, from blondes all the way to light and medium browns, because what it's depositing is just tone. It's just giving you that cool violet ash tone, and it's not making the hair lighter or darker, whereas espresso will make you darker because it's got that brown in there. So I think if you left that crema on for the full 35, you would love your results. I think that'd be perfect with the Sienna. And you're welcome, yeah. So Nicole, that's called Melee Gloss when you go to look it up on our site in the golden honey tone. And Suzanne, where do you find the color choices? Is there a strawberry blondish color? So where you find it would be going on to the MadisonReed.com website. When you go up to shop, you can pull down color reviving glosses. Here, our color advisor is going to try to come into play and guide you toward your appropriate choice by asking you some questions about what you're trying to accomplish. And so it'll ask you where you are and kind of what your goal is, and then it will lead you to a gloss. If you don't love the gloss that it's recommending, there is an area that it'll say, please see all 8 shades or something to that effect. And that will open it up and you can see all of the various shades that are available. To answer your question about strawberry blonde, I would would probably guide you toward the Prosecco gloss. The Prosecco is built for golden blondes, and we do have a really bright copper called Canela, but it is quite vivid. So I would look at those two. I would look at the Canela and the Prosecco and see which one kind of speaks to you more, because it'll depend on how vivid you want to go or how subtle. Prosecco will be more subtle, Canela really vivid, beautiful, but very like cinnamon bright copper red. So that's what I would go with. But it seems like, I'm reading your question again, strawberry blondish, I'd go Prosecco and leave it on. Leave it on the full 35, and then you'll get a lot of that gold out of there, and I think you'll really love it. And Jennifer bought the product a couple years ago. You haven't used it, and you still have it. Do you know what the shelf life is? The color kit, you're absolutely fine. If it's sealed and it's never been opened or tampered with or anything like that, you're absolutely fine to use it. I do think that the shelf life is, I think it's about 2 years. That's another one that I could double check and just make sure I know for sure that I'm giving you good, correct information. But yeah, shelf life for color is quite long. As long as it's unopened and it's being stored somewhere nice and safe and cool and dry. But we'll post a exact answer for you. And thanks, Carmen. And okay, yep, still sealed. Yeah, you should be absolutely fine on that. And I think you said it's the Catania color. And let me see, I'm scanning your comments to see if I've got it. Yeah, Catania, which is, I'm so excited for you because that's one of my favorites. I love that kind of like rich mahogany. Even though it's not what I'm wearing on myself, I'm always drawn to those like rich, deep browns. They're just always beautiful. And I feel like they look good on almost everyone. So, but we'll post a comment just to seal that answer and make sure that we're not leading you astray. But I think I'm right. Okay. Thank you, Catania. You're welcome. I'm excited for you. It's going to be a beautiful color. And hi, Katrina. Sorry that you missed the answer for going from brown to blonde. What would be the recommendation? Katrina, is it previously colored brown, or is this natural brown hair that you're hoping to take to a blonde? This would be something where I would love a photo, because I can really help you with a more personalized recommendation if we had a photo. And I do want to say that permanent color, and this is kind of across the board, permanent color doesn't have the ability to lift, lighten, or remove other permanent color. So if you put the, if you had a darker color on and it was from a bottle, if it was artificial dye, and you put that on, and then you put on a blonde color or a lighter brown color over it, that lighter color isn't going to have the capacity to take out that previously deposited color. And in that case, you'd want to do probably like a professional highlight to get you where you wanted to get to that lighter color, and then we could maintain that lighter color using Madison Wig Permanent Color. But again, that would be something that I'd want to kind of know more information about, as far as, are you asking about natural brown color, or are you moving from artificial color to a lighter artificial color? And, you know, if you keep commenting, we'll get back to you on that too. And thank you, Amanda. The Tree Stay Red is amazing. I love it. Yes, absolutely. It's gorgeous. And you would be a great candidate for our Barolo gloss if you wanted to pair a gloss with your Tree Stay Red. And that is going to give you such incredible shine. That Barolo gloss is really amazing. Okay, and so we pinned your comment just to make sure that we get back to it, Katrina, just because it sounds like we have a little bit more of a color consultation to do with you, which we're absolutely happy to do. Okay, so again, if you are just tuning in for the first time and you've kind of missed what we are all about and what we're having a conversation about here today, we did a color application of our permanent color on my roots and color reviving glosses on the mid-lengths and ends to give a really pretty root to end result with nice sheer ends. And that whole process has taken place, and we're just processing right now, answering some questions and hanging out with you guys, talking about Madison Reed color. And any more comments, bring them in. And pretty soon we're going to need to sign off so that I can shampoo my hair and get back to you guys with the results. So I'll wait for a couple more comments, but otherwise we'll be back shortly. And I think we're coming back with result video or result photo. Not sure. I think it'll be a result photo, and we'll post that here. Okay, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'll shampoo, blow dry, and I'll get that done as fast as I can so you guys don't have to wait too long for result photos. All right, thanks so much. We'll be back.